TikTok has been known for having pro-Palestinian posts on the app significantly outnumber pro-Israeli posts. The head of the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt, was caught on a leaked audio back in March saying, quote, "We have a TikTok problem." Since then, the TikTok ban bill has passed, but TikTok creators have had their content on the war on Gaza censored, including Jessica Burbank, aka Ka Burbank. That is me. I have been censored on TikTok. A video of mine was taken down over the weekend for, quote, violent extremism. My account now has a warning on it that it can be deleted if I violate guidelines again. Listen to the clip in question and decide for yourselves.
Israel has used an American-made bomb to target a school being used as a refugee camp, and the death toll is over 90. Ceasefire talks are ongoing in Doha, Qatar. Egypt is at the table as well, Israel and the United States. Hamas is not. The leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, was taken out in a precision strike, as was a leader of Hezbollah. Many people are saying that if Israel has the capacity to conduct precision strikes, why are we seeing entire neighborhoods leveled in Gaza? Elon Musk and Trump sat down for a conversation. There was, of course, all kinds of technical difficulties. It started 30 minutes late, and here's some of what it sounded like.
It's great. And you're an interesting character. You know, the new head of a place called Argentina.
A lot of people just don't understand where inflation comes from. Inflation comes from government overspending.
Which is hilarious, because if you look at the global indexes, Israel, Greece, Finland, all of these countries had 5 times to 25 times higher inflation rates than the first quarter of 2020 to 2022. So the question becomes, how did Biden pull that off? The polling is now neck and neck, while Harris and Walz are drawing crowds so big that Trump has said they're AI. There have been riots all across the UK. People have been attacked and stabbed. They attacked a mosque and they've targeted centers where there are many migrants or Muslims. In response, people who identify as anti-racist activists tried to prevent these crowds from assembling. Elon Musk got in hot water because he posted to X a fake Telegraph article saying Keir Starmer is putting people in detainment camps. This is not true, nor is it a real article. And so he's faced a backlash from the EU. Terry Breton said that if he said anything in his conversation with Trump that was hate speech or misinformation, they would be forced to take action against X and Elon Musk, but they didn't say what kind of action that would be.
So that's the video in full. You can judge if that was violent extremism. And the interesting part of all of this is that the word extremism doesn't even appear in TikTok's community guidelines that I supposedly violated. Violent extremism was the reason I was given for my account going under warning and the removal of that video. But then last night, my video was mysteriously restored without any explanation as to why it was taken down, and for violent extremism, which isn't mentioned in the guidelines at that. So Robbie, free speech is under attack.
Because of the violent extremism that you represent. I feel unsafe every day sitting in this chair. I never know when little Jessica is going to leap at me with her daggers and her claws. No, this is totally ridiculous. I'm glad they restored it. I mean, it might have just been a mistake, but
right.
I mean, it was a mistake. They should not have taken down your video.
Yeah, clearly was a mistake. You know, I don't want to say that it was malicious when I don't know anything. It could just be some kind of incompetence, some kind of mass reporting, or a dedicated group of people that don't like the information I select to put in my news recap.
I mean, at some point, again, widely censoring dissenting opinions on social media is malicious, even if it is just some kind of harmless mistake. They do this so routinely. It feels malicious. It happens enough that it's malicious.
It's a big and powerful tech company that can assess when that's happening. Or it should, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it shows you how dangerous this kind of thing is. So I've been taken off. I've had articles censored on Facebook by their third-party fact-checking organizations, because on Facebook, unlike Twitter, where it's the community notes feature, which I think is really good, including community notes on the story you're noting there that was false that Elon shared. Well, it got community noted to death. On Facebook, these third-party independent groups do all the fact-checking, and they're just partisan activists. So I've had articles about, not even articles that were particularly controversial, flagged for COVID reasons. And then, of course, this entire show famously got suspended on YouTube back in the days where it was me and Kim Iverson and Ryan Grimm. I think it was winter. It's got to have been 3 years ago now. The show Rising violated the election integrity policy of YouTube at the time, which said that, and of course we did not actually violate the policy. We played a clip of Donald Trump in which he made the false claim that the election had been stolen. And apparently, if you're going to show even a clip, you're going to report on somebody doing that, you have to correct them. You know, we've corrected this claim a million times, but in that one clip, we didn't immediately jump in and say, and by the way, because you don't know that that's false, it's false. They suspended the channel, which was crazy.
Yeah.
For a week.
It
killed us.
I sifted through the guidelines. I'm like, what possibly in these could have been violated? Yeah. And there's a part of it where it says, violent groups or violent individuals. If you quote them, you have to say that you don't support that quote. But I never quoted Hamas. Right. The only people who were quoted in that were Terry Breton from the EU, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump, who just said, you're an interesting character. Well, a place called Argentina. And then Elon Musk talked about overspending, which was something that I refuted. So there's even within that part of the guidelines, there was nothing. It's just weird that the video had over it, a black screen. This is not accessible to the public. And it said the words violent extremism. This video was taken down for violent extremism. But if that's not in the guidelines, there had to be a real decision maker who wrote that, because it's not like an auto thing you can report on TikTok. So that's what I find very interesting about this one is I've heard stories that, they have people employed who are 14 to 17-year-olds who are just going through videos trying to make, the community guidelines enforceable on TikTok, and that's who's reviewing content. I can't imagine they would come up with this idea that the video is violent extremism, though. And that's what's interesting, is with the mass reporting, usually it's something that's on the laundry list of what you can report videos for, but this isn't on that list. So I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, maybe somebody just doesn't like your content and wanted to get you in trouble.
No, a whole lot of somebodies don't like my content, but I think there are a lot of other people who would like to see it. And so, I don't know, it's kind of crazy what TikTok's been like. It is true. I've experienced it. Creators I know have experienced it, that ever since the TikTok ban bill, it seems that TikTok's taking this approach of really cracking down, reporting on the war. And I think that's why that leaked audio of Greenblatt matters, is because we know AIPAC is a very powerful lobby, and it's suspicious that the ban came around the same time when that was a huge conversation. And so a lot of creators have questions about that and have noticed their content just not gaining traction in the algorithm if it's reporting on the war. And so being censored from talking about what's going on in the world because it's violent is a bad place to be. We should have access to information.
More Rising right after this.